a mental strategy to get out of being a sore loser for a second. I put way too much work and I care about this. It's okay to care about something extreme. Sure. To let it bask more than 72 hours. No. Then it's time to get back to work and keep moving forward.
Well, Mark, listen, we've definitely you lived up to the billing. We've been pumping this show for probably the last 2 or 3 episodes, just to let you know a little behind the curtains there. We knew once we found out you were coming on. So, guys, Mark Glicini Peak Performance. You can visit that website at www.markglicini.com. You can follow him on Instagram at Mark Glicini. Any other social media platforms people can find you on? I figure it's probably all the same. And don't forget the podcast, Grateful and Full of Greatness. Any other ones that you have?
That's it. I look to preach the same messages on my Instagram, Mark Glicini, MarkGlicini. And then on Twitter, Mark_Glick, GLIC. And I just look to push these messages, and you two are mensch, and I appreciate you guys having me on here. It was awesome to riff.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mark, real quick, before Mark goes, where can people go to the Cancer Foundation?
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that. And it's on www.markglicini.com. So it's on my website underneath the foundation page. We're working on momentum. We actually have a couple of 5-digit donations so far that I'm really blessed to have. And it's really a huge thing, and momentum is going to be a big thing on that. And it's underneath the foundation tab on my website. So I really appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
So I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this story, Mark. I was recently listening to Jesse Eitzler on the Ed Milet podcast, and Ed was telling this story about the way, I know you have that mirror, the honest man's mirror you talked about on Tyler Pazik's podcast about, you're always asking whether someone looks in the mirror at the end of the day and they either are saying, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. But I want to tell you a story that reminded me of you. So I'm listening to this, and Ed Milet tells this story about, he said, I believe that at the end of your life, and if you're fortunate to go to heaven, he said, what happens is God presents to you the best version of yourself. It is what you should have lived up to. It's everything your life fulfilled as far as what you could have been in that truest form. And you're faced with this. And Ed says, for me, heaven would be if I looked that man in the eye and I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. I think I was pretty close. Of course, we're never going to be just perfect to it, but I think I was pretty close. And hell would be if I was so far removed from what I should have been. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of you, because I got to tell you, you are an inspiration to a lot of people. I know the work that you do, you've definitely been one of the inspirations I've had as a mental performance coach, is listening to you, some of the ways that you connect with people, the way that you convey information, make it very understandable. I know Dr. Rob's had a great influence on the way you tell stories and stuff, but I will imagine and would imagine that when the time comes for you to face that person, you're going to be pretty daggone close. And I just want to congratulate you on what you've been able to accomplish.
God, that is a really, wow. No, a million thank yous to that, and I can only hope, I talk about my clientele and the people that are listening to my podcast, and I come to have conversations with. We're building a wolf pack of people, right? And you can only be part of that wolf pack if you're just as hungry. And I think you guys will be part of that, definitely. So I really appreciate you saying those words. They mean a lot.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Want to provide feedback or stay up to date with the show? Visit our Instagram page at Mental Advantage Podcast, or you can send us an email at podcast@mentaladvantage.net. To have John Cullen work with you or your team, please write to him at john.cullen@mentaladvantage.net. Thanks for listening to today's episode.